Okay, students, we are now start our new class of the chapter electrolysis. So today we are discussing about the electrochemical series. So metals are electropositive in nature and lose one or more valence electron to form cations. However, the ease with which metal lose their valence electron is different for different metals. For example, sodium loses its valence electron much more easily than silver. On the basis of the ease with metals lose their valence electron to form cations, the metal have been arranged in a series known as electrochemical series or metal activity series. In little bit you already read about in your ninth class also. Okay, in the chapter periodic table. So, characteristics of electrochemical series. First is the ease with which electron lose electrons to form cations decreases on moving down the series. Okay, in other words, the tendency of metals to get oxidized decreasing on moving down the series. The metal placed at the top, that is lithium, loses its valence electron most readily. Okay, you can see table 6.5 also on your book. Whereas the metal placed at the bottom, that is platinum, loses its valence electron most difficulty. Second thing, the ease of cations to gain electrons, that is to get discharged at the cathode, increases on moving down the series. In other words, the tendency of cations to get reduced, or you can say that to get discharged at the cathode during electrolysis, increases on moving down the series. Thus, the cation placed at the top of series, that is lithium ion, possesses the least tendency to get discharged at the cathode. This tendency gradually increases as one moves down the series and becomes maximum from for platinum, okay, which has plus 4 ions, is placed at the bottom of the series. Metals placed above hydrogen in the series can only displace hydrogen from acids, while those placed below it cannot. Okay, in the chapter hydrogen in ninth class, you already read about it. A metal can displace any other metal placed below in the series from its salt solution. Now we read in detail about electrochemical series of anions. Okay, during electrolysis, anions, or you can say negatively charged ions, move towards anode. At anode, they lose their extra electrons and get discharged at neutral species. The ease with which anions lose their electrons is different for different anions. On the basis of the ease of electrons, that is to get oxidized and get discharged at the anode, anions can be arranged in the form of a series as shown on left. Okay, if you see this series, it's increasing ease of oxidation, okay, increasing ease of discharge at anode. You can see these ions form their get their negative charge here. The tendency of anions to lose electrons, okay, that is to get oxidized and get discharged at the anode, increase on moving down the series. Okay, if we talk about the to get oxidized, it means they lose electrons. Okay, we already know that in the process of oxidation there is lose of electrons or loss of electrons found. Thus, the sulfate ions possess minimum tendency to get discharged at the anode, wherever the OH minus ions, okay, have the maximum tendency to do so. If you see this electrochemical series, okay, uh, lithium from lithium to platinum, so there is decreasing ease of electrons when we move down to the group and decreasing ease of oxidation, it means. Then if we move down the group, it's increasing ease of losing electrons, that is increasing ease of reduction. Okay, increasing ease of discharge at cathode. So their cations formed or cation formation after reduction you can see easily here. So some other examples of electrolysis now we discussed. First is electrolysis of fused or molten lead bromide. Okay, this is in your course in this current syllabus also. So electrolysis of fused or lead bromide. Fused or molten means when we provide heat it, okay, it get molten. The detail of the experimental setup and the process are as follows. The first is electrolytic cell. The electrolytic cell used in this case is silica crucible. Silica is non-reactive and can withstand high temperatures. Moreover, it is almost a non-conductor of electricity. So what electrolyte is used here? The electrolyte used is fused or molten lead bromide. Okay, students. So you in this chapter you can see that in electrolysis major thing is all about the electrolyte used and electrolytic cell in which this reaction is take place. So solid lead bromide is a non-conductor of electric current as the ions present in it are not free to move because they are held together by strong electrostatic force of attraction. Okay, in last week we already discussed about in the case of NaCl also. Therefore, it is made conducting by bringing in the molten state. Solid lead bromide is kept in the molten state by heating the crucible from outside. In the molten state, ions become free to move and are able to conduct the current. Then this process of electrolysis takes place. Their temperature. The melting point of lead bromide is 380 degrees centigrade. Therefore, this temperature is maintained by heating the crucible from outside. Okay. Next is electrodes. The inert electrodes of graphite are used. In this case, two graphite rods are dipped in molten lead bromide. One serves as anode while the other as cathode. You can see here. Okay, whenever I am reading you can just match it with this figure also. Okay, there are two graphite plates here. Okay, one is as with positive charge which is anode called anode, and one is get a negative charge. Okay, and in this cell called cathode. Current. The graphite electrodes are connected to a 12-volt battery through copper wires and a key is placed in the circuit. You can see here this is the 12-volt battery and a key of a circuit is just placed here. On pressing the key, a direct current of about 3 amperes at 12 volt from the battery flows in the circuit. Okay, I think this type of chapter is also in your physics also, so you can understand very easily there. The electrolytic process and the electrode reaction. Then what reaction is take place there? Eventually, the fused state lead bromide undergoes electrolytic dissociation. Okay, don't worry about these figures and whatever thing are written here. You have to just understand that actually what processes are take place in all the experiments whatever you further discuss with acidified water. Okay, so in this reaction you can see here the main thing is that in the fused state lead bromide undergoes electrolytic dissociation to form lead and bromide, okay, ions. When the current is switched on, lead ions migrate towards cathode. Okay, because why they are moving to cathode? Because they contain the positive charge and they goes to their oppositely charged cathode. Okay, whereas bromide ions, okay, they contain minus charge, migrate towards anode at the cathode. Then at the cathode, these lead ions undergo reduction by taking two electrons per lead ion to form electrode and change into lead atoms which get deposited in the form of a silvery gray coating around the cathode. Okay, and on the other hand, if you see, bromide ions undergo oxidation by giving one electron per bromide ion to the electrode and change into bromine atoms. It is a primary change. The neutral bromine atoms combine together to form bromine molecules. It is contained the secondary charge. Bromine molecules thus formed at the anode escape and bromine vapors are seen evolving from the anode. Okay, actually these are all experiment related process. When you actually do them, then you can easily understand. But for this, for your help, the figure also given here. So whenever you read, match with the figure. Okay, so which process is take place? It means they go here. Okay, you can see they goes here, and the bromide vapors will be evaporated from this anode here. Okay, so some imagination you have to also put there. Then the electroc reaction, main reaction is are as follows. Okay, whenever this lead bromide in fused state, it break down into its ions, okay, which is positive ion lead and bromide ions. Then at the cathode this reaction takes place. The lead ions gain 2 electrons, okay, and they reduce to this lead atom, and bromide ions just uh, we can say goes to this they lose their electron and form bromine. And two, because they are not capable of remain in the free state, okay, bromine atom are not able to remain in free state, that's why it combines with another Br or bromine, then they form this main bromine, okay, Br2. As you know that chlorine, okay, also not you can see never in this form. It is always react with another chlorine atom to form this chlorine, okay. Then products obtained is here. Thus, on account of the electrolysis of fused lead bromide, a coating of silvery gray lead deposits on the cathode and dark reddish brown fumes of bromine evolve at the anode. The experimental setup used for the electrolysis of fused molten or lead bromide is shown in figure 6.6. Okay, you already see it. So another example of electrolysis of acidified water now we will discuss. If you are something you have confusion in first one, then you can understand easily by this example. Okay, these all are same things. The experimental setup used for the electrolysis of acidified, or you can say acidulated water or dilute sulfuric acid is shown in figure 6.7. Okay, water is acidified here. It means because a normal water does not pass any current. So the details of the experimental setup and the processes are as follows. First is electrolytic cell. The electrolytic cell used in this case is called Hoffman's voltmeter. Okay, voltameter. You can see in figure 6.7 also. It consists of two vertical glass tubes A and B connected together through a horizontal glass tube which is connected to a reverser C. The vertical glass tubes are fitted with platinum foil electrodes. Okay, you can see figure here, so you can easily understand the figure. Okay, uh, it consists of two vertical glass there here, okay, one two, and you can see horizontal glass tube with connected of receiver C there. Okay, this is acidified water is put in this reservoir. Okay, the vertical glass tubes are fitted with platinum foil electrodes. In first experiment we just use a silica crucible here. Okay, and in this experiment we use the platinum foil. Okay, sorry, graphite foil is used in the first experiment. Okay, in this experiment we just use the platinum foil. So electrolyte, and in this process the electrolyte uses acidified water containing a small amount of dilute H2SO4 or dilute sulfuric acid. The electrolyte is filled in the apparatus through reservoir C. Okay, because pure water, as I already told you, pure water is almost a non-electrolyte and does not conduct electricity to an appreciable extent. This is because the dissociation of pure water is almost negligible and it consists almost entirely of molecules. In the absence of ions, it is unable to conduct electric current. Addition of a small amount of dilute sulfuric acid increases its electrolytic dissociation, which helps water to conduct electric current. Okay, that's why we just use this dilute H2SO4 to make the acidified water. Third thing is temperature. Electrolysis of acidulated water is carried out at room temperature. No heating is required in this case. Okay. Next is electrodes. The inert electrodes of platinum are used in this case. Both, as we know that platinum is not a good conductor of electricity, so that's why they are inert. Both anode and cathode are made of platinum foils. The platinum electrodes are connected to a 12-bar battery, same as the first experiment, through copper wires and a key placed in the circuit. On pressing the key, a direct current flows direct into the circuit. Okay. The electrolytic process and the electrode reaction which take place, acidified water or dilute sulfuric acid dissociate as follows. H2SO4. Okay, if you see dissociation of this H2SO4, it just break down into its ions. Okay, first is it formed two hydrogen ions and one sulfate ion there, and water then dissociate into its ions or its constituents. Thus, the only cations present in the electrolytic solution are H ions. The anions present are sulfate and hydroxyl ions. When the current is switched on, the hydrogen ions migrate towards cathode, whereas sulfate and hydroxyl migrate towards anode. Okay, this thing you can easily understand that whenever there is plus charge, it goes to the cathode, and when minus charge goes to the anode. At the cathode, H ions undergo reduction by taking one electron, okay, per hydrogen ion and charged into neutral hydrogen atoms. Primarily charged, the hydrogen atom combine together to form hydrogen molecules. Okay, secondary change. Okay, as we already know that they cannot live in free state. Okay, hydrogen H, then they will be combined with another hydrogen to form a molecule. Thus, hydrogen gas is liberated at the cathode. It collects over water in the cathode tube. At the anode, the OH- ions are discharged in preference to sulfate ions because hydroxyl ions occupy a lower position in the electrochemical series than sulfate ions. The OH- ions undergo oxidation by giving one electron per hydroxyl ion and change into neutral OH species. It is primary change. Okay, the OH species thus formed at the anode combine together to form H2O molecules, as OH also not live in free state. So it formed the water molecules with the evolution of oxygen gas here. Oxygen gas thus formed collects over water in the anode tube. That is a A.